So today we're talking about new quizzes. And Jill, I know you said you're fairly new at, you've experienced quizzes before, right? But the new ones is going to be different for you. And how about you, Nahara? Have you played with new quizzes at all?
I do quizzes. I don't know what new quiz is.
Okay, okay, okay. That sounds good. Then so that means we're at the right place. And I'll be honest with you, I've actually taken a while before I started to play with new quizzes, only because it took a while for them to kind of work out some of the kinks. So that's why I'm like, well, I don't really want to do all this training if it's still kind of wonky, right? And it's still got bugs in the system. So now, from what I'm understanding, it's at a better place. I mean, sometimes it has little hiccups, and that's with any system, but it seems to be a little more stable now. So I figure it's time to start introducing this tool to our faculty. And from playing with it, it's pretty cool. I'm going to show you a quick, it's like less than a minute and a half, less than that, just a quick intro video of new quizzes, and then we'll do some, we'll play. It's going to be a two-parter to this because there's a lot of features in new quizzes. And by it being new, actually for all of us, I don't want to overwhelm you. So I'm going to show you the basics and show you how you can migrate from classic quizzes into new quizzes. And then I think I'll do a part two session of this maybe in the spring because there are some really cool features in new quizzes. So, okay, without further ado, let's go ahead. I'm going to share my screen and uh, hopefully you guys can see the screen. And I will say, since it's a smaller group, it's just us, feel free to just unmute and just if you have any questions, because it's hard for me to see the chat, but it's so small, it's very informal. Play the video. Okay, can you guys hear that okay? Can you hear it? Okay.
No audio.
No audio. Oh, righty. So let me stop.
Can you make it full screen too?
Sure, definitely. I just want to get the audio together. Why is it not? Oh, let's try that. Okay. Let's try this again.
Several item types that
How about now?
measure
Can you hear
student
it? Okay.
competency in
Yeah.
a variety of subjects. Quizzes can be modified using various quiz settings and align to outcomes at the quiz or question level. Instructors can moderate student attempts and review students' answers. New quizzes includes quiz reports for admins and instructors to view student performance, including mastery of learning outcomes. Students can access new quizzes from a Canvas course to take a quiz. Students can view their results from new quizzes. Quiz results include overall and individual question scores. They may also include instructor feedback. This guide covered new quizzes.
All right, so pretty straightforward. I mean, it's more engaging, I would say, than classic quizzes. Just because it has more of a modern, it has more bells and whistles, right? So I think it's pretty, from what I've been exploring, it's pretty handy. But just a couple things I want to show. So I'm going to share my screen, and I have a dummy course, and also I'm going to just so that you don't have to worry about writing everything down unless you just want to. Typically with my sessions, I like to include a resource document so that everything that I'm sharing with you, I have links and how-to videos and guides, so you don't have to worry about trying to memorize all these different steps. But you're more than welcome to. It's just something that I provide. It's also going to be linked in your meeting invitation. You'll see a resource document there, so you'll have a quick way to reference it. So I'm going to share my screen, and let me go in here. I feel like I need 3 monitors at times because it's like I have my WebEx and let me bring this right here. Okay.
So is this already loaded in Canvas under quizzes?
So I'm going to show you how to turn that on. So are you guys seeing my screen okay? That's Canvas. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So to enable new quizzes, if you go into your settings, your course settings, kind of towards the bottom, and I also have that linked And then if you go into, it's going to be under your feature options, right? So if I click on my feature options here at the top and select new quizzes, and I just enable that. Hit enable. And then I want to go all the way to the bottom, or never mind, I don't have to save, it's already enabled. So now when I go into my quizzes, it's going to give me a choice. So let's play with, let's set one up now. Let's go new quizzes. We're going to set up a multiple choice. So see how it asks me. Typically, it's not going to ask you that, but because I enabled it, it's going to ask me if I want to create a new quiz or a classic quiz. Classic quiz is what you're used to seeing now. So in this case, or if I want to learn the differences, I can click this and it'll kind of go into the whole spiel in terms of what it is and all that good stuff. So for now, let's go ahead and say new quizzes. Now, if I know for sure I want to use new quizzes for this course, I can just say, remember this choice for this course, right? So I don't have to worry about going back and forth. So let's go ahead and hit submit. And we are going to play with, let's just call this a multi choice. So as you see, this is pretty much standard, right? Give it the regular points. We'll just keep it as is. Everything pretty much looks the same if you're familiar with classic quizzes. But the only difference is instead of adding, and if you notice, they don't have any questions here, question types. It's going to be my build button, this blue button here at the bottom. So if I select the build button, it's going to take a minute to load. This is where I would create the questions for my quiz. And as you see, it looks different, right? It's pretty user friendly. But before we go into that, just to kind of give you some pointers, build is where you're going to create your quiz questions. Settings is how I want my students to have access to it. Or so, for example, if I want to do shuffle questions, shuffle answers, one question at a time. So that basically means as I'm going through my questions, it's only going to show one block at a time. A lot of these are pretty straightforward. I can require time limit, access code, detect multiple sessions. That's going to be, if there's some suspicious activity, I can really lock it down to make sure it's only one session being displayed. And again, I have videos that really, really go into, that takes a deep dive into this. And then also this will highlight, kind of tell me too what's going on. Filter IP, that's if you're a little more techy and you really, this is a high stakes quiz, maybe if it's a lab or maybe, you know, again, a super high stakes exam and you want to make sure they're only accessing it from this computer, then if you know how to do that, go for it. Allow calculators, which is pretty cool because they have, you know, if you're in science or math or you need a calculator, you can also incorporate that, be it a scientific calculator or a regular calculator. Allow clearing sections. That basically means as a student, if they want to clear their options, they can easily select that. Disable documents, feedback with results, pretty straightforward, right? You can definitely go through it. Hide results, allow multiple attempts, et cetera, et cetera.
What about Respondus Lockdown Browser?
You know what? From what I understand, it does work with Respondus Lockdown Browser, but that might be in my second part because I need to play with that too. I haven't quite played with that yet, but from what I understand, it does work with Respondus Lockdown Browser.
Generally, that
that's a good
would be
question.
in settings. But at this point, if that's, you know, I teach my course online, and so any quiz requires Respondus.
For sure. Well, with Respondus, you're actually enabling Respondus, right? And then you're going into the settings within Respondus and turning it on.
Right.
These are the settings specifically for this quiz. So I don't imagine it would still work the same way, right? You would still go into Respondus and still make those selections within Respondus settings, but these are just the quiz settings for new quizzes.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Moderate, that's where you're going to go if you want to give students, maybe if you have students with disabilities, they need more time or they need more attempts, you would come here to give them those options. So if you notice, it has the accommodation. So if I need to give them maybe unlimited attempts or one attempt, or, you know, if I need to change their time, again, maybe if it's a student with disabilities, maybe you don't want them to have a time limit. Or if I want to reduce the answer choices, I can. So for example, if I have 4 possible answers, then it can reduce it to 3, you know, just depending upon what the needs are. That is there for you. And reports, this is just what that is. It's going to give you details of how well the students are functioning on that quiz, and helps to identify maybe areas that need to be tweaked or adjusted question-wise, and all the good data in terms of the quiz goes. And then exporting, you can export that quiz. Okay. These are just basically, this is where you can add your points. It's not gonna, you'll see this change as we add more. This is basically navigating the quiz. So let's go ahead and make oh, I'm sorry, I didn't even mention. So you can create your item banks. If you're one that likes having question banks, it's gonna be item banks and new quizzes. You can also align your quizzes to outcomes, which is really good, especially if you're assessing in your classes. And if you're using program learning outcomes, classroom learning outcomes, or institutional learning outcomes, they will align, which is great. And preview is once you've built it, you want to play along. So let's create a multiple choice quiz. If I click this plus sign, and I have all these options, as you see, there's a lot of different types of quizzes. So that's why I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna have to split this, because it could take, you know, it could take some time. So I think so for the sake of today, we're going to talk about multiple choice. We'll go into matching, file upload, essay, multiple answer, and true false. The remaining ones I plan on having at a future session, just so that, you know, because there's so much, again, I don't want to overwhelm. So for now, let's go with multiple choice. Pretty straightforward. You can add your instructions here. Now, this is a little different. Quiz or question title is actually more internal. That's something that you would see. Your students would not see that, right? So if you want to give it a name, you know, I'm going to say multiple, whatever makes sense. I would say make it the same, really, because that would just make sense. I'm not quite sure why they have 2 separate areas for that, but we'll just put multiple choice test. The question stem is what the students will see. Right, so this is the actual student. This is the question that they'll see. The title, only you'll see that. So why that's necessary, I'm not sure. But at least with the STEM, you have more options to, you know, use a rich content editor. So if you want to change the fonts and make your adjustments and add anything fancy, you can definitely do that there. So multiple choice. Okay, so let's say, I don't know, name for Maricopa Community College. Okay, so we'll say EMCC, and as you notice, I just click on it and just make my change. RC South Mountain CC. Let's roll. Actually, we'll say, yeah, which is not, let me see, make this make sense. Which is not a Maricopa Community College. Okay, there we go. That makes a little more sense. And let's say, I don't know, BCC, right? So to select the correct answer, just click on the radio button. I can add more answers if I like. Some of the options, again, we said on if I'm doing a math or maybe a business or accounting, if I wanted to have a reason for students to have a calculator, we'll just click it for fun. So I can decide if I want a basic calculator or scientific. So it's saying, okay, for this, it recommends me doing 1 question at a time. Okay, cool. Vary points by answer. That just basically means it's kind of giving you partial credit. So even if you were close, you know, it'll give you some kind of credit for it, which is cool. Yeah, go for it, Nahara.
So, in the regular quizzes in Canvas, we can choose some questions from question banks. Is this feature available here as
You
well?
have question banks. Yep, you do. They're called item banks in your quizzes.
Okay,
Yes, uh-huh.
Can
thank
you
you.
import a regular quiz, a classic quiz into a new quiz?
You can, you sure can. So and I'll show you how to do that. So you can import a quiz and then migrate it into a classic quiz.
Got it.
So we can, in this situation, convert our quizzes to new quizzes.
Correct.
Okay,
Yep, correct.
that's cool. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So of course I can shuffle points or shuffle the choices, pretty standard. Again, I can align it to an outcome. Um, by going in and selecting, especially in your programs, I believe, I'm not sure. I think both programs have some kind of learning outcome, be it institutional program or classroom. So you just do that, search the outcome the same that you would. For this, I'm just going to play with the comprehension. That's an institutional one. Confirm. And then item bank, so that's that quiz bank that you were mentioning. So I can add to a bank of questions here. We'll make this 5 points. And then here is where I can give feedback to students. So I could say, for correct answer, way to go. Incorrect answer, right, try again. Okay. Or if I want to give general feedback, it gives you that option as well. So let's hit done. And we'll hit done. Okay, so that is our multiple choice. I'm going to add a couple of different other types to this before we preview it. Let's go into, so this here, now you notice it's changed because basically it's giving me the option to go into, so as I click on, it's kind of weird. So if I click on this, the edit is highlighting this key, this pencil here to make those changes. If I click to one, it's going to basically take me, it's kind of like a table of contents, right? So wherever I click, it's going to take me in the quiz. That makes sense. Okay, so let's add another question type. Let's add a multiple answer. Select multiple answer. Pretty straightforward again. Title, this is multiple answer. And let's call this let's see. Name which colleges okay, so we'll say EMCC, RSC, Rio, and then we'll just make up another bogus one, BCC, I don't know, ZCC. Okay. Same. So then this one here, it allows me the opportunity to give students partial credit with the penalty. So that basically, from what I'm understanding, if they don't get it correct, okay, so partial credit, students are awarded points for every correct answer and deducted points for every incorrect answer, right? Or I could say exact match, meaning if they have to get everything correct in order to get the points. So let's just,
Yeah, I think we don't have this feature in the quizzes, in the regular quizzes.
and that's probably correct. That's and one other thing I meant to mention too. One thing I like about classic or new quizzes is, with classic quizzes, you cannot duplicate them. You can't copy them, right? Which is kind of like you can copy everything else. You can copy pages, assignments, and modules, but you can't copy quizzes. New quizzes, you can duplicate quizzes, which is pretty cool.
Can't we copy the quizzes?
So like, I'll show you an example.
I copy the quizzes to other sections.
And correct, you can import, right? You can import quizzes, but if you notice, if you're in a quiz, right, and you try to go to like, I'm gonna show you, let me show you right, that might be a little bit easier. Okay. Let me go and. Okay, so notice how this is a classic quiz. This is one I probably stole from one of you guys or borrowed. This is a classic quiz, right? Now, if you notice in classic quizzes, I can't duplicate it.
Copy to. I do copy to and then
Well,
copy.
copy to is taking the quiz and it's moving it to another section. But I just might want to. So let's say I just have this quiz, but I just want a copy of this quiz in this course.
Oh, in the same course. Okay.
In the same
I never
course.
did that. Okay.
Right, because maybe I just want to make a couple of changes. It's a similar quiz, but
Okay,
I just
yeah.
want to make some adjustments to it.
Yeah.
I can't copy a course or
Mhm.
quiz in the same course. But
Yeah.
with new quizzes, I can duplicate the quiz.
Okay.
So that's kind of a cool feature. So, but we're going back. So let's just say exact match. We'll make this 5 points. And so now we have our multi-answer, multiple choice. And now let's throw in a true false. These are pretty much your basics. True false. Okay. We'll say EMCC is one of the 10 rare community. Okay. So we know that's true. Everything else remains the same. And let's hit done. Okay. So now if we want to preview, just go here. And as you notice, this has changed. So now I can go to question 1 easily to edit, question 2, question 3. Or if I want to kind of give it more of a different view. Oh, okay, it takes me back to the instruction. Okay, navigate to the title. So this is just an easy way to kind of maneuver through the quizzes. But let's go ahead and preview it, see what it looks like. Okay, so then this is what a student would see. Okay, which is not a Maricopa Community College? BCC, okay. This is a multiple choice, a multiple answer. Which college is part of Maricopa? Okay, excuse my grammar, I promise I know. I'm usually a decent writer, but for the sake of this, you know what I mean. So we'll say EMCC, and let's get one wrong. Okay, EMCC is one of the 10, yes, and we hit submit. Yes, I'm sure, I'm ready to submit. It's gonna do it. So it gave me, because I got partially that one question incorrect. So it just, I didn't get all my points. Any questions on that? It's pretty straightforward, really. Once you kind of get in there, there are some more advanced features, but these are kind of the straightforward ones.
So what do you see of the major advantages to using new quizzes?
Honestly, again, some of those more advanced features, like they have, oh my goodness, hotspots. That one I'm looking forward to playing with. Categorization. I don't even know if I said that. I feel like I said that wrong. Ordering, stimulus. Some of these other more advanced features I think is pretty handy. I just have yet to play with them as of now. But again, and just the fact that you can make copies of quizzes within Canvas, I think is pretty cool too. It's just a little more engaging. And to be honest with you, I do believe, I don't know, they haven't said when or if, but there was talks of it replacing classic quizzes. I'm not, there's no ETA on that. So, so I figure I want to at least get a handle of showing you guys in case that does come about. Just so that you're aware of how to use these features. Okay. All right, so we played with that. Now let's go back. So if I want to go back, I just hit return and it'll take me back to my quizzes. So now we can create an essay. Now the difference is the other ones that we've gone through are going to be auto-graded, where obviously an essay is not auto-graded. Oh, another feature that's handy with new quizzes is you can incorporate those learning outcomes to your quiz questions, right? So that makes it nice. You can assess it on the question level. Okay, so yep, let's go ahead and select new quizzes, submit. Let me call this essay. Just go to build. Okay. So the cool thing about essay questions, and I'm not sure, well, they don't, actually, there's no essay. Is there an essay component to classic quizzes? I don't think so. I think it's just assignments, right? You just make that an assignment. But with essay questions,
I think there is. I think there is. It's when you, yeah, I think it does support the essay question.
in quizzes or
And
in
classic
assignments?
quizzes, yeah. I don't know
Okay.
if it's called essay, but like,
Oh, you might be right. It might be an open-ended question or
yeah,
something like that.
you can add a question
Yeah.
that you grade later
Mhm.
and then see the answers.
Yes, that makes sense. Yep. Name of Maricopa colleges. No AI. Okay. So again, same, very similar features, camera, rich content editor. That basically means where I believe in classic quizzes, it's just a basic text editor. Where in new quizzes, I'm giving them the same options as I'm creating it here, right? So I have the ability to make the bold, to make the changes to the text and add photos, all the nice things that I would do as an instructor. I'm giving the students that option.
Does it have spell check and tools?
Oh, you're
or
right there
review?
in my head. That's the next option. I can do spell check, right, which is probably really great for those, yeah, spell check for sure. I could show word count. So maybe, as the student they're required to do 200 words, right? It'll have a word count right there for them. I could set a word limit where I don't want them to go over 200 words, right? So I could say I want a minimum of 50 to a maximum of 200. Right? Grading notes, since this is an instructor, it's not an auto graded, it's an instructor graded assignment. I can make notes for myself. So as I'm grading, I could tell myself, watch out for AI responses. Although that's a whole nother subjective conversation. Again, this is something that is only for you as the instructor would see. And again, I can align it to outcomes and Ivan Banks. It's pretty straightforward.
How about a grading rubric?
Um,
Can you add a grading rubric?
oh, that's a great question. I don't know, because you would think that's a good question. Let me see. Are you guys able to see my screen still? See the structure? Okay. I am curious. This.
Yeah, because I use a lot of grading rubrics.
Yeah, because I wonder in that case, would it just be easier to you create an assignment, right? Like maybe at that point, if you can't add a grading rubric, I would just say stick with an assignment and attach that rubric there. But let's see. Quizzes. Oh, that's announcements. Where am I?
So in the classic quizzes, we also, I think, don't have grading rubric. We only have grading rubrics for the assignments, right?
You do have grading rubrics for the assignments in class. Yeah.
For the assignments, not
the
the
assignments.
quizzes.
Yeah,
Right.
for
I don't think so.
assignments.
Yeah. Trying to
Now,
do
the quizzes, since they're auto graded, that's really straightforward until you get into the short answer or the essay ones.
right.
Yeah, and then the points for the short answer is already known, so we don't need a rubric.
Right.
Yeah, I don't see. I think I think at that point, if you want to get more in depth, I would probably suggest doing creating it as an assignment and
Right.
attaching the rubric there. Yeah. But that was a great question, though, and I'll keep my eye out if anything changes. I mean, because it's fair, because if you're aligning outcomes, and a lot of outcomes are attached to rubrics, right? So that is a very good question. Okay, so we'll hit done.
How about regrading? You know, you have to, or maybe you found out you had a faulty question and you have to go back and regrade a quiz.
Uh-huh. You mean an auto instructor graded?
Yeah.
I mean, you should be able to do that, right? I mean, that's just like with anything in SpeedGrader, you should be able to go back in there and regrade.
If you change a question, you know, it'll say, do you want to go back and regrade all of them? And you can do that by going through and looking at each one, their log. And, you know, if you want to regrade, up comes a screen that allows you to add a point or.
Oh, like fudge the points?
Yeah.
I would imagine, I mean, if that's a feature that's in new quizzes or in classic quizzes, I would imagine it would be in new quizzes. I haven't personally played with that yet, but I'd be curious if you try this out. If you're interested in using this and you try it out, please let me know. But yeah, and I'll do the same if I find out. Another option is file upload. I don't know if there is that functionality in classic quizzes, but maybe yeah. So
what's it do?
So let's see. So maybe I want to see, you know, if I'm teaching, I don't know, science, right? Like, or biology, and I want you to send me a picture of the skeletal system, right? Or something like that. I mean, obviously not just to give you an example, but something that what you want your students to send you an image of, right? So that you can grade them. It could be like, oh, I have an image somewhere. I could say, send, maybe it's agriculture class, and, you know, send me a picture of your favorite vegetable, something like that, right? Whatever as an instructor you would want to incorporate for that assignment. So I could say, send a picture of beautiful flowers. Okay. I can restrict. So if I want to say, you know what, don't send me I don't want a whole bunch of flowers, just no more than one. I can restrict that. I can restrict file types, so especially Nuhara being in the CIS division, you know, you can restrict to just JPEGs or, you know, PNGs or just leave it open. I could say 1 or 2. So, and then everything else is the same. Make it 5. So now I can browse. Oh, what happened? I am done. Okay, so that's what the students want to see. Okay, so if I go to preview. Okay, so this is, okay, so here's my text. I'm gonna go in because I am lazy and I don't want to type all this out. Generate some text. This is a fun text generator I like to use as I'm developing and creating content or developing trainings. So we'll just say, oh, okay, I'm a fun student. This is not AI. I want to send a picture. Oh no, that's one. Let me see. Be sure that's something. Okay. And hit submit. Yes. Auto grade it. So of course it's not going to grade because it's going to say your instructor still needs to complete the grading, right? So it has waiting for grade here, waiting for grade here. But you notice it gave me the word count and the max. It told me how many words I had and what the maximum count was. Okay. Any questions on that so far?
No.
All right. Pretty straightforward. Okay, so now let's talk about fill in the blanks, which is, I think that's another handy one too. So if I go back into quiz, I should have just said yes to all the, no worries. Yes, fill blanks. Okay. Go to our build. Okay. All right. I can add some instructions. Both. Build. Okay. Okay. Fill in the blanks. So question title, complete. I'll just say fill blank. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay, so now just throwing okay, so these little tick marks here is going to basically trigger the system to allow for that question blank field. So let me show you what I mean. So if I say naming, let's say naming colleges within, trying to think of a good one, community, naming, if name Maricopa blank, right? Community college. So that's the correct answer. If I put a tick mark here, this is going to be the blank. So basically I'm telling the student to fill out Maricopa Community College. Community is going to be blank. Right? I probably could have thought of a better question. I just couldn't. So then what I'm going to tell my students how to answer that question, I can either say they can write it out and fill in the blank. Personally, I think unless you really know how to capture all possibilities, I don't think I would do that, because I could say close enough, exact match, specific correct answer. Like this to me, unless you can think of unless you're in the student's head, you can think of all the ways they could fill that out and make that the correct answer. I personally wouldn't do open entry. I would probably select something like a drop down to give them options. So I could say Maricopa Community College, Maricopa County, right? Maricopa City, right? But we know the correct answer is community. Okay. So let's say Maricopa Community College is Maricopa Community College District. Let's do that. Is located in, we'll say Tempe, Arizona. Hopefully you guys, I hope this question makes sense, because I'm like really building this plane as we're flying it. Okay, so I'm gonna say Maricopa blank College District is located in blank, Arizona. Does that make sense? You'll see it. Let me put the little tick marks in there, because these are where all the blanks are going to be. We want students to fill in the blanks.
So the tick marks you're talking about is just a double quotation mark?
Yes, the tick mark is actually above your tab key. It kind of looks like an enye symbol, like a squiggly symbol.
Okay.
So it's right above your tab key. It's kind of like a little, it's like looks like a high comma, like a backwards comma, right?
And that lets the program know that that's the blank.
Correct.
Because this is quite different than putting together matching with classic quizzes.
Now there is matching in classic quizzes too, and I'll show you that one. But this is just straight filling in the blanks, right? So we'll say Maricopa blank College District is located in blank, Arizona. Okay. So now for this one, we have a drop down. It's going to give the students a drop down of answers. The second one, again, I don't really like open entry because it's, to me, I'm having to guess what they could possibly put down. That's just too much. I'm going to make this one a word bank. So it's going to give me a bank of words to choose from. So the distractor basically is the not correct word, right? So we'll say the correct answer is Tempe, but the distractor words will be Mesa, Phoenix. Oh, Mesa is a distractor word. Add another distractor. We'll say Glendale. We'll add another one. Avondale. Okay. Okay, so those are going to be all the distractor words. Okay. Allow word bank choices to be reused. And we'll leave that blank. We'll make this 5. And then let's hit done. So we can see what it looks like. Okay, so see how it did? So basically it made that little tick mark, made the community the blank, Tempe, these are the correct answers, right? Okay, so now let's go to preview. So that now I'm the student. Choose your Maricopa blank college district is located in blank, Arizona. Okay, so we know Maricopa. Oh. Maricopa community is the correct answer. Is located in Tempe, because remember we did 2 different ones. So now Tempe, Arizona.
Mhm.
Hit submit. Yes. Woohoo, got it 100% correct. So does that make sense? I know it was kind of weird trying to explain it at first, but I think it's pretty, once you start playing with it, it's pretty intuitive. All right, so let's exit preview. Now let's add a matching. Matching is slightly different. Okay. 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 Match the cities where the colleges are located. Okay. So let's say EMCC is located in Avondale. Okay. Rio is located in Tempe. SMCC is located in Phoenix. So Mesa is located in Mesa. Let's put MCC. It's located in Mesa. Okay, now I can add, right? So we know these are the correct answers. Now I can add some distractors since we know we want to critical thinking, right? Want to throw them off a little bit. So let's add some distractors. So let's say we have Avondale, Tempe, Phoenix, Mesa. Let's throw in Glendale. This is going to give them more answers, more responses than they need, basically. So we'll throw Glendale in there. Maybe we'll say surprise. Goodness, Scottsdale. And what's another city? Glendale or Goodyear. Goodyear. Okay. Same thing. I can shuffle the questions. Yeah. This one I can give them partial credit or exact match. Partial credit, students are awarded points for every correct answer. Okay, so basically they'll get something for the correct answers that they give. Exact match, they have to get it all the way right to get the points. So we'll say partial credit, sure. 5 points. Done. And now let's go back and hit preview. See how we did. Okay. All right, choose your answer. We saw Maricopa Community College is located in Tempe, Arizona. Now we want to match. South Mountain Community College is located. So now it gave me all of these cities, right? Because we also threw some distractions in there too. So all these cities. So South Mountain is located in Phoenix. Let's say Rio is located in Goodyear, the wrong answer. EMCC is located in Avondale. Mesa is located in Tempe, right? Hit submit. Sure. I didn't get everything right. Got partial credit. Got partial credit, but yeah. So to me, this just it's a little more engaging, I feel. You know,
Yes.
it's a little more sleek and user friendly.
Mhm.
So that is matching. So that's again, that's where I wanted to stop as far as the different features because there's a lot. I want to get into some of those other ones. But it seems to be pretty advanced. I'm definitely planning on doing a part 2 if you guys are interested in that. But we'll exit here. And I wanted to show you too, we talked about how to moderate a quiz, but I want to show you how to convert your quizzes. So
Yeah.
let's say you're so like, you know what, I like new quizzes, I want to give it a try. If you go into your quizzes and take one of your classic quizzes, and if you very easy, just select migrate
Okay.
and it'll automatically run it through.
Oh, wow.
Let's see what it looks like.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Click on migrate, build, and it did it pretty quick. Preview. And here and voila.
That's easy.
Yep,
Mhm.
automatically took everything over.
So if they do put it in as a requirement that we are all going to have to switch to new quizzes, at least you could take all your old ones
Mm-hmm.
and move them
Right.
in.
Yeah, and I wouldn't, and I probably shouldn't have said when they require there's been talks, right? But there's no ETA, so definitely don't feel like you have to worry about learning this anytime. There's still plenty of time, but I can see the writings on the wall. Like I'm sure at some point, right? You know, but I wouldn't worry about rushing to have to do anything in terms of transitioning by any means, because it's not, for what I've heard, there's no ETA at all. They was at some point they were trying to, but it was too many issues. So, you know, now they're just giving it to us as an option. But I just figure it's a nice thing to kind of get a handle on just in case you're already ready. So yeah, pretty easy, breezy. I would say it's pretty straightforward. You can also look at, and we talked about, I don't know if we talked about quiz logs, and that's where if you moderate quizzes, you would be able to see. As a matter of fact, let me test it out real quick, just so that you can kind of get an idea of what it looks like when you're checking their logs.
Huh?
Let me share something else. Okay. Okay. So let's say I am a student and I am going to take, oh, I think I have to publish these. Go back and publish. Let's just publish all of them. Publish, publish, publish. Okay. Publish. Okay, let me go into quizzes. Okay, so now I'm a student. I'm gonna take the essay. Oh, Firefox is acting really wonky. I think I need to change my browser. So bear with me. Let me switch back to phone. Okay. Next. So I gotta do my, so I gotta do my duo. Okay. Yes, this is my advice.
You're just trying to get some assignment that's completed up so we can look at the log.
Yes. Yeah, and I won't take up too much more of your time because I know we're close. But can you see, are you able to see my screen and you're seeing quizzes?
It's in the essay.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay. So we're going to go in as a student. Begin. Sure. Submit. Turns. Okay. Let's get some View. Spouse MCC. Then I'll something on next day. Submit. Oh. Do one more multiple choice. Okay. Okay. Which is not a miracle. XC. True. All right, so now let's return and I'm going to see if it gave me some data. Are you able to see, did you see me take those assignments or no?
No, it's just an empty white screen.
Oh.
It
Okay.
says essay, but like we don't see the question.
Okay, so I had to switch, bro. I'm sorry this whole time. Yeah, I wanted you to see me. It's basically, it looked just like it did when I went to the preview, but I was doing it as a student, but I'm kind of bummed that it didn't show that. And now it wants to show. That's what I did as a student. I went in and took the assignments.
Okay.
So, yeah. So you didn't miss a whole lot, but now hopefully you are seeing.
It shows all three assignment quizzes, essay, fill in the blank, and multiple choice.
Gotcha. Now you should be seeing the instructor view. Are you should
Yes.
show? Okay. So now if we go in, go to build, it should show you some quiz logs. Okay.
Yeah.
So now it gives me some data if I wanted to go in and view. Tells me when the student signed in.
Right.
You know, it's kind of like, I mean, I don't want to say,
Classic.
well, kind of like respondents in a sense. We're kind of tracks,
Right. It does a
It-
pretty
it-
good job.
yeah. So really between that and respondents, you know what I mean? You can really have some solid protection with your quizzes, I would say. But yeah, I think I think it's worth playing with for sure. And again, I put together, and this is linked right in the meeting invitation.
Okay.
Here's some resources, again, just basically everything that we talked about, like what are quizzes, the settings, how to create and build multiple choice. Now, I have to give our Scottsdale family a shout out. They did a great job of putting together a new quizzes Canvas course, which I also linked here if you're curious about going through the modules. Very similar to what's already here, but I did include their videos too. So they have some videos on how to create multiple choice, all these different areas, but I also incorporated the Canvas guides. So all the things you need to know, most of it, right? And we talked about how to moderate quizzes, how to give students extra time, migrating from classic, copying. This is what we talked about. Nuhara mentioned how to copy a quiz from one course to another, but then how to even share a quiz with an instructor, right? Maybe you have a fellow colleague that you want to share this beautiful quiz with, where you can share it directly to them. How to view the quiz logs, and you can also do reports, and then all things quizzes. So things that we haven't talked about yet, that I also incorporated a guide. Now, as you see, there's a lot. So so I'm like, okay, I have to pick and choose. I want to give you kind of the basics, but then next time we'll delve more into some of those other features and have like a part 2 of this. I also incorporated some student guides. So if you're playing with this and you want to have some how-tos for student from their perspective, that's also linked, and you can incorporate that right in your Canvas. And yeah, I think, look, all with the minutes to spare, are there any questions or comments or concerns for me? I'm gonna stop sharing.
I think you've covered everything really well, Najma. It just takes, like you say, some playing around with it to see if it's worth switching over to. I'm way more concerned about all of that accessibility stuff that's due by April of this next year. That's a real pain in the neck. I've dabbled with it. It's very hard. And now they said you don't get the green flag until it's 90%
Yes.
acceptable. They really raised the bar on that.
Actually, from what I hear, 95%. But this is the thing too.
I think yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
The classic quizzes are not the panorama doesn't work on them. It says that this content doesn't have any HTML. But like these quizzes that you just made using new quizzes, I noticed that they are accessible and we have to fix them using panorama, not like the classic quizzes. So if you have,
interesting. You did notice that. Okay.
yeah, because you see the icon next to them. In the classic quizzes, it's gray. It's not there. But like the one that you just did, it was not fully accessible. You need to fix it with panorama. But like the classic ones don't have any HTML, but like these are made with HTML, I believe, or something like that. So if we use new quizzes, we have to fix them using panorama now. But like the classic quizzes are not, they don't have any score because for some reason, I don't know why.
Right, that's actually,
There's a gray icon next to the classic quizzes. They are not included in the panorama thing.
that's interesting. I'm gonna have to play with that.
So that's a difference between them. So
interesting.
I
That's
think
very
I'm
good
not sure. I
No,
don't
let
know.
me know. That's a good observation. That's something that I'll be playing with too.
I might be wrong, but like I just noticed that the icon is valid. It's
For sure. Yeah, no, that would be something that I'd be curious to learn and play with as well. And that's one thing I wanted to say is that I know, unfortunately, we kind of got some of this information late in the game in terms of the tool that we were going to use, but we're trying to change the tone to be more, yes, this is something we have to do. Yes, we have to be compliant, but it's a journey, right? There's no way by April we're going to be
the
100%.
accessibility thing. Okay.
Yes, right? There's just no way. But what is our plans, right? What are we doing to get there? That's really important. It doesn't mean that we don't do anything, but it just means that we don't want to, we're doing it for the good of our students, right? Just for good course design anyway. Unfortunately, the timing is just like, but in the same token, we'll get there as we
And
as
now,
we can.
yeah, and there is this issue of syllabus template, which is not passing the Panorama score.
Yeah, definitely aware.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's something that's next on our plate too, for
Yeah.
sure. Definitely next on our plate. But yeah, I things that you come across and you discover, especially when it comes to Panorama, any weirdness, please email us. We have an email account. It's the Title II
We can't
task.
do quizzes, you know that, right? We can't do the
Correct.
classic quizzes, but like these
Correct.
quizzes are accessible, I believe. I'm not sure, but like
I hope so. Because
yeah.
that would be one extra thing that we don't have to worry about, right? So,
Mm.
but if by any chance you find anything wonky with Panorama, I'm
Mhm.
going to throw a link in the chat. Definitely send that email, send that to that email, and we can always forward that up to Panorama because we're trying to collect some of these weird things that are happening if you're noticing them, especially
Oh,
now.
okay.
Yeah, before those
So far,
deadlines.
my understanding is Panorama cannot fix any PDF files, but like it
Not
fixes,
true, not necessarily. PDFs is a whole nother animal.
but like it can't
P-
fix PowerPoint
some
file.
it can fix some PDFs, right? Like it just
Oh.
depends on what the fix is. And
Mm.
there are cases where it wants just a simple tag. And now you might have to download the PDF, bring it into Adobe Acrobat,
Mm.
tag it there, right? So there's multiple steps. So what I would advise, if you can avoid PDFs right
Yeah.
now,
Okay.
or make sure the original source file is compliant, right?
No.
Because that's the thing, right? Because the PDF is coming from somewhere. So
Mm.
if that original source is compliant, it's got all the tags and the headers and all the things that you need. Once
Mhm.
you PDF it over, then you should be good. But it's
Yeah.
just a matter of making sure that the original file is compliant.
Mm.
The CTL is going to be hosting some workshops on how to create compliant PDFs. So look out for that. That'll be happening. I'm not sure if it'll be in the fall, but if not the
Like, yeah.
spring.
As you said, we're not creating most of the PDFs. We're just taking them from other resources.
And
So,
then I would also say too, and I know this might be an unpopular thing to say, but I'm gonna say it. Our publishers are giving us PDFs, right? So if hold them accountable. You know, like I would seriously suggest if you have a publisher, let them know, like, and everybody's aware that we need to be compliant, but I would just really push back and say, hey, give me some kind of assurance that your PDF, your documents are compliant.
mm.
I mean, it's at least a way, I hate to say CYA, but kind of. I recommend too, if you're using publishers and there's a concern, to go onto the publisher's website, and typically they have their accessibility statement. And I would put that in my syllabus, right? Just because those are ways that we're showing that we're being proactive, that we're at least putting a plan together in place, right? So just a couple things that I would do moving forward.
Yeah.
So you don't think that April deadline is going to be hard and fast?
Oh, it's hard and fast. I mean, that's
What's going to happen if you don't have the little green icons?
Well, I can't say, to be honest. I don't think everything is to be determined, right? But what I do understand is we have to have a plan in place, and we'll have to report out. Will we be 100% compliant? Probably not realistically, but what is our plan of action to get there, right? So that's what I mean. Like, it doesn't mean not to do it. Strive to get. We have to do our part and do our due diligence. But just the sense of the fear, unfortunately, that it's totally understandable just because of the timing when everything happened. It's like, well, like even us, we're still learning the tool, yet we're having to train. We're still building the plane as we're flying it, right? So, but we're all in it together, and we'll get there. So,
I thought what we had in place with DRS was adequate. I think that this whole Panorama thing is just over the top.
well, because it's a federal thing, it's all digital content, and it's not just our institution. It's a federal thing, right?
Right.
So
Yes.
that was their solution for Canvas. But I apologize. I have a 1 o'clock. I'm
Sure.
going to send you guys a survey if you don't mind just helping me with improving these sessions. If you can help me out and fill in the survey, I greatly
Sure.
appreciate it. And I will probably send that to you guys when I get back from my other meeting.
Okay.
And rest of the
Thanks
day.
for your time, Najma.
You're welcome. And hopefully, if
Yeah,
you think
thank you.
my pleasure. If you think this is helpful, I'll do a part 2. So,
It was helpful. Yeah, thank you so much.
awesome. Thank you. Take care.
You bet.
Bye.
Bye
Bye.
bye.